So I'm making this video to talk about chakra removal and energy blocks, and to give you a perspective on what chakra removal is actually about. So you hear chakra removal, instantly you think, well, it is to remove chakras, right? You actually pull out the third eyeball, actually take out the throat chakra, take out the heart, take out the emotional gut region, take out the sexual body. Chakra removal is not to remove chakras. I have to call it chakra removal because the world has this umbrella thing called chakra removal, and anybody who is interested in that frequency of healing, I want to bring them into my world so I can give them a totally elite service of what chakra removal is actually about. So, chakra removal, I've been doing chakra removal for over a year now, but I didn't actually have a service for it until, I guess, probably the last 6 months. That I've had people asking me if I do chakra removal, and when I first started hearing about it, I was kind of like, yeah, that's a bogus thing. I don't know what people are talking about. You can't remove chakras. Why can you not remove chakras? Well, because we have to have a third eye for a psychic visionary experience. We have to have a throat chakra for communication. We have to have a heart portal. It's the access to our soul. We have to have an emotional gut region. We have to have a sexual body. Like if we were to look at the energy balance of a gray alien being, for instance, they do not have sexual body parts. So they don't have a sexual body. So if I were to do a chakra removal, I technically would be taking away your sexuality. I would be taking away your ability to express yourself, or taking away your heart. I can't do that. That would actually be crippling, or destroying you and not healing you, right? So when I heard about this, obviously all this stuff was going on in my mind, and just thought it was such a bogus thing. But I'm open-minded, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to sit down in my own little Abbey world, and I'm going to see if, by some odd chance, I can get my spirit guides to help me remove my own chakras. And I'm just going to see what they say. So I'm not just going to atomic bomb this idea. I'm actually going to be open-minded and see what the spirit realm says about this. So I went into my own energy field. Before I ever did a chakra removal on anybody else, I did it on myself first. I actually thought I might die. After I did this, I was like, is this going to kill me? It was actually a fearful experience. But I did that because you have to face your fears in this lifetime. Like, being human is facing your fear and then discovering, oh wow, it wasn't as big and scary as I thought it was. And you learn and you grow and you become empowered, so you become courageous, and then you just continue that journey, right, of fearlessness. So I sat down with my spirit guides. I went into my own spiritual atmosphere. I said, okay, we're going to remove my chakras. It was such a positive response. I couldn't even believe it. It was like I was hearing clapping, cheering. I was like, okay, so removing chakras is a good thing? Are you serious? I didn't even know how to do this. I was like, okay, I'm just going to visualize my energy portals, and then I'm just going to look at, like, pulling them out. And it was interesting because at first, when I first started doing it, it would look like flowers that were growing out of these energy portals, that they would just kind of like fall off. And then the whole energy field started to circulate and spiral and started to turn into like a crazy activation of energy. It got super, super hot. Was the first time I ever did it, was to myself. And I just felt like I was lifting up out into outer space. I was like, what in the world is this? What is going on with me? After that, I was like, so I don't have chakras anymore? I don't have energy portals anymore? I didn't know anything about this. I was just totally a self-taught chakra removal person. I'm a self-taught healer. I'm a self-taught psychic. I'm a self-taught everything. But being self-taught, you actually kind of feel your way through stuff, and you learn it the hard way. You don't learn it based on what somebody else says, I know what it's about. I actually learn it through exploring it and experience it. And believe it or not, every soul is different. So if you have a textbook that says this is how you do chakra removal and you do it the same for everybody else, that book is that's just bogus garbage. You can't do the same healing on one person as you do on somebody else, because no two souls are the same. No two human lives are the same. And chakra balance, again, we're going to get to what is chakra removal actually about if I'm not removing your energy portals. Chakra balance is always going to be different, because what has defined you is your identity. Just because we all feel like we're human beings does not mean that is our identity. Our identity can be based on lifetimes of learning about fear, lifetimes of learning about empowerment, lifetimes of learning about courage, lifetimes of learning about all these different identity things. But who are you truly underneath the surface of this? So like you can see it like Superman has like the piece of coal and he holds it in his hand really tight, and the coal then, you know, gets squished under heat and pressure, it turns into a diamond, right? So we're doing that. Our souls are kind of under a lot of heat and pressure, and we're turning into diamonds. And so chakra removal is basically breaking down, punching all of these energy like structural layers to bring out the purest essence on the inside of you. And then we just, all the energy layers that were just sort of helping you maintain an energy identity that's not really your identity, because your purest essence is on the inside. It's been developing, molding, and shaping you and helping you to grow into what is now the baby chicken that's ready to hatch out of the egg. So chakra removal is to break down the old structures of identity. What is the identity structure? It's just a bunch of energy that's been molding and shaping you into this divine essence energy. So we just crunch it, we break it down, we're Hulk smashing it down, and then we just bring out your divine essence. It's very purifying. It makes you feel lighter. It makes you feel airier. Chakra removal makes you feel airy, amazing, awesome. And that's it. A chakra removal is not going to make you feel miserable or sick. If you go to a psychic that does chakra removal and it makes you feel sick, makes you feel weird, uncomfortable, makes you feel like it just wasn't a good experience, that is not a balanced spiritual healer. A balanced spiritual healer actually heals you. It brings you into balance, frequency, balance. All right? We're talking about our identity is a frequency. Lots and lots and lots and lots of frequencies. Frequencies that need fine-tuned, and then fine-tune some more, and then fine-tune some more, and then fine-tune some more. We are fine-tuning ourselves over lifetimes, but in a single lifetime, you can be fine-tuned at such an extraordinary level. And you can just be like radiating light, and you just pure and loving, like Christ consciousness incarnate. That is the ultimate fine-tuning. Is chakra removal going to turn you into Christ consciousness overnight? Actually discovering yourself, going through the process of living, overcoming fears. You're going to be tested on a regular basis throughout your life how to become a better person, right? How to become more Christ consciousness. So life is the process of becoming Christ consciousness. Chakra removal is not going to just, bam, I'm like Jesus now. I'm just pure. I'm just heavenly now. It actually is going to give you the boost that you need in order to feel like more connected with the light and the sun and the divine essence, the higher frequency. If anything I've noticed, it definitely expands your heart portal. And it makes your heart portal feel a lot bigger, a lot more energy flowing in and out of it. You feel far more expanded. You feel more connected. You have more access to using your energy portals than ever before. People who want to get totally unblocked, they're going to get, I want a chakra removal. If I can remove my chakras, then I'm going to have no energy blocks ever again for the rest of my life. The problem with this thinking is that you need energy blocks. The energy blocks, you actually create energy blocks all the time. You do it when you're afraid. Like somebody who has been on a date with 10 different women and always gets turned down is going to create energy blocks on what they feel that they are good enough for. Sexuality energy blocks. Energy blocks of all different kinds based on the pattern of how they've been treated in their life, how they've been treated on dates, how they've been treated. So it's just natural. It just happens. It's about confidence or not confidence, fear or not fear, and what we believe we are as an identity, what we are good enough for, what we suck at, but we've never tried to get any better than this. We just want to be hard on ourselves, self-punishing. People who are depressed, people are extremely self-punishing and really hard on themselves, but they also feel like really cut off, feel like they are not fully understood. These are really extreme energy blocks that manifest and we get sucked into them, and then we start to live inside ourselves in a space where we feel like we are buried alive deep down inside the earth, even way cut off from the energy of the sunlight and from the love of other souls. That's what somebody who's depressed on an energy level looks like. Is chakra removal good for somebody who's severely depressed? Well, it's going to help. I do also what is called a soul rebirth journey. So Soul Rebirth Journey is chakra removal is like restructuring your identity. It's breaking down the structured layers and pulling out your most divine essence and making you feel lighter, more connected to a higher frequency, more able to channel in that positive energy in and out of you. So you're breathing energy in and out of you on a balanced flow. Whereas Soul Rebirth Journey is like, we are made up of all different types of echoes across the cosmos, across lifetimes, across time and space, across eternity, spirit lifetimes, soul fragment pieces, alien lifetimes. We're all over the place. Our souls are so incredibly infinite. So now we're sort of deduced down to the human experience, right? And we're trying to just survive our daily lives. So chakra removal is a really great way to get you feeling lighter. But for somebody who's like severely depressed, I mean, that is me going deep down and seeing what it looks like down here, really helping to nurture that part of your consciousness that is living in the dark and helping to hold you and help fill you with love. We can access angels and higher self frequencies. We can do that in chakra removal or soul rebirth journey, but really to help fill you with love and understanding about how to conquer this thing. Because a session is going to give you the energetic boost you need to keep moving forward, but it's also going to give you the wisdom you need to overcome this. And the wisdom, I mean, every version of depression is actually uniquely different. It might have similar effects. Depression has a way of making us feel like we've been swallowed up into the darkness and we cannot access the love of everybody else. And we even push people away and pull ourselves away from people. And we don't know why we're doing it. We don't know how to overcome it. So on the energy level, it looks very similar across the board, but there's different reasons for why this is manifesting in your life. So Soul Rebirth Journey is going to say, I want to work on my depression. Okay, let's tackle depression today. Let's really go in there and see what is going on. Chakra removal is, I want to feel lighter. I want to start feeling like ascended. I want to access my lightest version of myself. I want to restructure. I want to get rid of the old garbage energy, like right off of the surface layers of my soul. Like I want to do that. That's chakra removal. So Soul Rebirth Journey is, I want to get into the deepest parts of my soul. I want to recover I want soul fragment retrieval. Soul fragments are like, we have soul fragmenting happening all the time. Even in this lifetime, you can have a soul fragment happen many times. For instance, you're in a car accident. And now it was severe enough that it's making you feel uncomfortable to drive. And now it's taking you like months and months and months, and you still have this weird herky-jerky feeling whenever you get to a stoplight, and you just can't get over it. The reason you can't get over it is because you're so fragmented at that car accident. Because it created a trauma that was loud enough that it scared your soul a little bit, and it left the soul in the driver's seat at the accident, and now you're still trying to recover that part of your soul. And so you were reliving the moment over and over and over again every time you get to the stoplight. Soul fragment is a big deal. Like, people have had extreme trauma situations. Trauma can even be, I was totally in love with this person, and I only knew him for 2 weeks, and then they just stopped calling me, and I can't live my life anymore. It's crazy how much of our souls we can give to somebody. And then now it's like they have a piece of your soul. Well, it fragmented off into their spiritual atmosphere because you gave it to them. They probably don't even have a clue about it. They might have echoes of thoughts about you on occasion, but you can't seem to get over this. So I can go in and bring that part of your soul back into yourself, like Soul Rebirth Journey. Now, Soul Rebirth Journey is 60 minutes long. It allows me a lot of time to really go deep, but we don't have to do 60 minutes, right? We could do 30 minutes, like a journey healing and wisdom session. For instance, 30 minutes is time for me to go into your spiritual atmosphere, get to know your energy balance, get to remove energy blocks, get to know the energy blocks that are at the surface of your atmosphere, the most noticeable ones, help you with anxiety, help you with depression, help you with all kinds of different like physical ailments, mental challenges. You know, I cannot stop being pissed off. I feel like I'm always angry or on the edge of my seat over this specific thing going on in my life. I can do energy work to help you disconnect from that thing and help you understand why that thing is driving you so mad and help to nurture you on a deeper level, so you can feel inner peace and acceptance, and then forgiveness of self, forgiveness of the thing. That's what a session does. Like, that's what these types of energy work sessions do. I do 15 minutes as well. And 15 minutes is a great way to allow me to step into your spiritual atmosphere, share a really awesome psychic message, 15 minutes, and do some energy work to make you feel better, refreshed and better. Chakra removal is usually like 30 to 45 minutes, but sometimes it can go over up to 60 minutes. It just depends on your soul, depends on your balance. It depends on it's just, what am I walking into? If you've never had energy work done before, and you really feel ready for a chakra removal, more than likely it's gonna take a little bit longer. But it also depends on, if your life has been really simplistic and there's not a lot of like extreme like challenges. Some souls have been dragged through the mud a lot. Some souls are carrying a lot of heavy burden and weight that they just can't disconnect from a sorrow. That's more of like a soul rebirth journey, but chakra removal can help too. So chakra removal is a legit thing, believe it or not. I know it sounds weird. Why do you call it chakra removal? Well, what else am I supposed to call it? Like, that is what chakra removal is. I've been asked to have chakra, do you do chakra removal? Well, at first I was like, there's no way chakra removal can even be real, because people can't remove chakras. You just can't do it. And then when I did it myself, I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. But what did I actually just do? I don't know. And so I've been feeling this thing out for all this time. And I've been doing all these sessions, and I'm getting more intricate and more understanding of what this is all about. And I'm feeling it. One of the most common things that happens in a chakra removal session, it feels extremely dense, feels very, 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 very heavy in places. So dense that I can even get lost in the density. I feel like I'm falling asleep in a way, but that's because I am breaking through really dense layers in order to release that out of your spiritual atmosphere, so we can do a restructure. Also, as part of a chakra removal, there's like a deconstruction or a breaking down what is like layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So I feel like eggshells, like souls hiding inside of an eggshell, inside of an eggshell, inside of an eggshell, inside of an eggshell. Or souls like in a closet, inside a closet, inside a closet, or in a coffin, inside a coffin, inside a coffin, inside a coffin, or a tomb, in a tomb, in a tomb, in a tomb. So why do I always run across this variable? It's always the same. I always run across something of this kind where I feel like I'm breaking down a layer upon a layer upon a layer upon a layer upon a layer. Because it's old layers, old energy structures, old energy identity that is no longer necessary, so I can actually sort of rebirth you in a different way, like ascend your spirits, ascend your divine light essence. It makes you feel lighter, airier. It's going to make you feel really good. So give me just a moment here. I'm trying to collect myself, because I wanted to do a video just to talk about what is chakra removal exactly, misconceptions about it's called chakra removal, what does that actually mean, and then to even just talk about soul rebirth journey, because I get the question, should I get a chakra removal, should I get a soul rebirth journey? Always follow your heart. Always follow your heart, and I will honor anything your heart requests of me. It's not for me to say what is best or not best for you, but I can tell you that the way how I do a soul rebirth journey is really focused on a specific, I am depressed. Well, let's do a journey and really get into the deepest parts of this and really get a feel for where this is coming from, why this is there, what is this connected to, and help bring you up and out of that. Chakra removal will also do that. Chakra removal will also help bring you up and out of that. But soul rebirth journey, it really engages more in focusing on the cleanup of that energy, where chakra removal is really focused on breaking down really long spans of structures, energy structures that are no longer necessary. It's a human ascension gift is really what it is. It's a lot lighter energy work than soul rebirth journey. So let me think. Okay, so energy blocks, I just wanted to briefly talk about energy blocks. We all have energy blocks. Energy blocks are good things, okay? Energy blocks teach us how to overcome fears. They teach us about the way we truly feel deep down inside our hearts. Energy blocks do stuff like this. Energy blocks can leave imprinted patterns. So let's just throw this idea out there. You have a kid who's been sexually abused. now grows up into becoming a sexual abuser. What do you think their energy blocks are going to look like? What do you think their soul and spiritual atmosphere is going to look like? What do you think their soul history or their soul journey is going to look like? Do you think that this person is going to need a chakra removal session? And we're talking about extreme trauma. We're talking about echoes into the inner child reflection, broken inner child reflection. We're talking about a soul that even feels broken, sexually dysfunctional, ashamed, extreme echoes of extreme emotions, and that now is being put into a situation where it can't be in control of itself. It's like a broken mirror effect in there. So would this person, what would their energy blocks look like, do you think? Their energy blocks are going to look like a lot of stuff. What do energy blocks look like? They feel like a lot of things. They look like they feel like echoes of time passing, screaming. They can look like crying for all eternity. They can feel like garbage actually plugging up the hole. They feel like I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. I'm like love. I'm not ingesting enough love energy. I'm suffocating. I can't breathe the love in. That's also an energy block. It can look like lots and lots and lots and lots of echoes of different things. So would one soul rebirth journey be enough to help somebody who has had an extreme experience and even transformed from that experience into somebody who's now dealing with the experience as an adult and is trying to overcome this? Would one soul rebirth journey fix a person with this type of extreme stuff going on? Would a chakra removal session fix this person? What is it to fix somebody, truly? We heal people and we allow souls, we honor the soul journey. We choose no judgment. We choose unconditional love. This is Christ consciousness energy. Christ consciousness is unconditionally loving. It does not throw people in a prison to rot. It actually gets to the root of the soul, the root of the reason why. It is supportive, loving, and is finding a solution. It's trying to create solutions through love and not through persecution. Because we all have problems. We all are out of balance. We all are working on energy blocks. We all are working on finding ourselves. We all are working on becoming more and more ourselves each and every day. So this is a video simply to put it out on the table, perspective here, okay? To create an honest discussion about what is chakra removal, an honest discussion about what it is to do distant spiritual healing like I do. I actually just close my eyes. I enter into your spiritual atmosphere. How do I know it's you? I don't need to know what you look like. I don't even need to know your name. I don't need to know anything about you. I simply have a booked session at this time, and I'm just going to go as guided by spirit. I go into your spiritual atmosphere because you consciously chose to do a session with heaven, with me, at this specific time. And I'm going to go into your spiritual atmosphere to explore your energy balance and give you a gift that heaven is choosing to manifest, help you manifest into your life, okay? Because you are choosing that for yourself. So I actually can travel as a spirit, as a consciousness, into your consciousness. We're all connected as one. So my soul is no farther away from your soul. We're all connected as one. You're in my heart. The universe is in my heart. God is in my heart. My higher self, everything, all the alien beings, everything is in my heart. So I simply connect with that, and then bam, I'm there. So I get to explore all that you are, okay? So I simply want to talk about some of this stuff to put perspective out there, to give you something to think about. People don't really understand distant spiritual healing. People don't really understand what is chakra removal. I'm scared. I don't know what is that going to change me? Am I going to wake up and feel kind of like I've lost a part of myself? What is that going to feel like? How, what's going to happen? I just want to give you perspective on everything. Chakra removal is an awesome gift to give to yourself. It is not going to make you feel terrible. It's going to make you feel lighter, airier, freer. It might bring up some wisdom in the journey to teach you more about yourself, so it'll give you something to think about. The biggest side effects from chakra removal or soul rebirth journey or any energy work I do is often the first 3 to 5 days you might feel sleepier than usual. The reason why is because your body is processing a lot of stuff. Your physical body actually feels the energy work. You may be able to feel it, you may not, but you will feel it if you feel more tired than usual. The drainy sensation is your body is restructuring. These energy bodies, like your third eye, isn't just your third, I mean, it is your entire body, because your third eye is working with your speech, is working with your heart, is working with your emotions, can be working with your sexual body, your grounding, your, higher wisdom. It's working with all this stuff. So it's all the way around you. So this little circle here is not just right here. It just feels like it's right here, but it's actually all around your whole body. Your throat, it feels like it's right here because we speak from our throat, right? We don't speak from our right arm or whatever. We don't speak from our eyeballs. Like, we can speak through our eyes, but you can understand why it would feel like we have an energy portal right here. This space is all about, how am I communicating or not communicating? Am I speaking from the heart? Am I just speaking from the mind, from my thoughts? Am I speaking from my emotions? I am fucking mad at you. So you see how the throat now is connected with your emotions? Can be connected with your soul or your heart if you're speaking from the heart. Be connected with your mind. Can be connected with like channeling higher frequencies. Can be connected with your sexual body. You can be connected with all parts of you. See, so it's not just here. It's actually all around you. So you have all of these energy bodies. It kind of reminds me of the layer upon the layer upon the layer upon the layer upon the layer that I'm just breaking and smashing apart and bringing out your most divine essence. Because that is what it is like. I'm breaking apart old energy structures. But you'll still have this right here. And you'll still speak or not speak from the heart, from the mind. This is fine-tuning and fine-tuning and fine-tuning and fine-tuning, right? Fine-tuning and fine-tuning and fine-tuning. We're always going to be fine-tuning these things. Chakra removal gives you a huge boost in what you can connect with and how free you can feel. It's an ascension energy gift is what I call it. It's also DNA activation because it is ascending you. It is bringing you into a higher awareness. DNA is affected by everything we do. We already know our cell phones are affecting our DNA. Are we going to stop using our cell phones? No. Are we going to get a chakra removal session to improve our DNA? That's up to you. But the things that we do positively, the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the way that we are socializing in society, the cell phones, all that stuff is all interacting with our DNA. So this energy work is also interacting with your DNA. You see how DNA activation works? It purifies your DNA strands because it's breaking down what was no longer serving your purpose, weighing you down. It's altering your frequency pattern. Your DNA is working with frequency. It defines itself based on frequency. So the higher the frequency, the more like pristine or balanced or like more accessible to love it is. We don't really see ourselves as energy beings. We see ourselves as human beings, but our reflection, our identity is how much are we accessing love for ourselves, for others, forgiving, unconditionally loving, all that stuff, or how much are we choosing chaos for ourselves and others, right? So we're fine-tuning our identities, we're fine-tuning our frequencies with love, okay? So I'm just gonna stop there. I'm gonna let you guys process all of this. It's a lot of understanding. It's a lot to think about. And again, people don't have a clue what energy balance actually looks like. So I'm going to stop there and thank you for watching my video. If you are interested in getting a chakra removal session or soul rebirth journey or any session at all, please visit me at my website. It's abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Have an amazing day.